of water. Let me see if I can disable the webcam. Okay. All right, what we'll do now, we'll go ahead and cover some of the features, advantages, and benefits of the unit. As you can see, one of our biggest features is the gear-driven transmission and the TEFC motor there. These two things together played an important role in achieving the high efficiency we wanted out of this machine. For the fixed speed units, as again, they're gear-driven. One of the advantages to the new gearbox is that it's up to a 30% reduction of thrust load on the element bearings. It's been calculated to be 3% more efficient than the belt-driven unit, and it's quiet. I mean, we'll cover the decibel levels later on towards the end of the presentation. But one of the advantages of our rotary screw units is that they are very quiet and they can be installed at the point of use. And this results ultimately in a lower pressure drop, and that in turn results in lower energy costs. One thing to note here, the gear-driven units, if a question you guys might have that I've had to answer before, I'll go ahead and get it out of the way. They do not have a flex coupling. One gear is keyed on the main motor shaft and the other is on the element shaft. I've had that question come in quite a bit once we launched these units. Let's see. Going to touch a little bit on the motors here. The motors that we decided to use and go with on these are Siemens. They're IA3 NEMA Premium. They're TEFC IP55 Class F insulated motors. They're really good with protecting the motor from dust and from water splashing. The IP55 is really good for that. It's, obviously results in great protection and reliability. Siemens is a very trusted vendor of ours. We've used their motors for a while. 2% lower energy consumption than IE2. This benefits everyone, obviously, as it results in lower energy costs. And just again, with Siemens, they're one of our premium suppliers, and they offer us great worldwide support. So basically, the motors are designed for very harsh conditions. Another thing we're going to touch on is the oil separation system. It's very efficient, and we'll talk about this right now. The oil separation has an increased oil separator cartridge. Comes with a ball valve, a vessel plug, and a sight glass to measure the oil level. The oversized oil separator results in obviously a lower oil temperature, and this also gives us a lower oil carryover. If any of you were able to attend Ben Smith's seminar earlier this week on these newer ranges that we're launching, we're achieving a much lower oil carryover of 2 parts per million as opposed to the standard 3 parts per million that some of our other units have. This obviously results in a longer consumables life, better air quality, a lower pressure drop, as you can see here, about 0.25 bar. That also helps result in lower energy costs. The oil sight glass, it's just easy and fast to check the oil level, and it's easy and fast to drain and fill in the oil with the ball drain valve in the pipe. All of these units come standard with the Rotair, the standard Rotair oil. As you can see here on this slide, everything about this unit has been built to make servicing it very easy and very simple. As you can see here, all the consumables have been strategically placed. It's gear driven. We have the service kits available, ready to go. Just fast and easy, safe maintenance. No need to tension belts as you would on a belt-driven unit. It's just lower service costs. You don't have to service it as much. No changing of belts or tensioning belts. And that just makes the service intervals easy to plan. You don't have to waste time ordering any loose spare parts. The cooling system. It's very efficient. The electric fan and the baffles, the heat exchangers, the air inlet position, the pre-filtration panels. I'm going to touch on these here a little bit. The electric fan, the high flow axial fan, produces a higher flow of air and Also has a lower electrical consumption, saves more energy, and it's more efficient. Um, it's combined with a wider heat exchanger, which allows us to be able to use the compressor in ambient temperatures that are higher than some of our other units. This, as it says here, this is suitable for up to 115 degrees ambient temperature. This just results in a longer lifetime of the machine. Um, the enclosed system, the pressurized canopy, just results in better cooling and improved reliability, um, and a higher compression efficiency, which saves energy for all around the board. Um, the cooling fan and the noise baffles, we touched on this earlier about the noise levels of the machine. Um, Anytime a machine can run quieter, you can install it closer to where people are working. There's less worker fatigue. You can get it closer to the point of use. Again, as we said, just reducing the pressure drop overall of the unit. For these units, an integrated dryer option is available. We have just the regular unit and then the integrated dryer version of the unit. These dryers have been oversized and for the 35 through 50 horsepower ranges, they are monitored by the ES4000 controller. As you can see there, the dew point is the same as our other integrated dryer versions, around 37-degree dew point. And as you can see at the standard conditions of 77 degrees Fahrenheit and a 95-degree temperature inlet. For these variants that come with an integrated dryer, you get a coalescing 0.01 micron filter standard right before the dryer discharge. This is a standard on all of the integrated dryer units. And again, as I said, for both the PDP alarm and the freeze protection, they are both managed by the ES4000 controller on this unit. I want to mention on the smaller units, on the 35 horsepower unit, the dryer added to the machine does not change the overall dimensions of the machine. We can fit that dryer perfectly in the same canopy as the non-dryer unit. For the 40 to 50 horsepower ranges, we have to extend the base frame by about 20 inches. So you will see an increase of about 20 inches on the larger units with the integrated dryers. Overall, just a quality air package. When you get the version with the integrated dryer, you get the coalescing filter, the condensate treatment, complete dryer control. Again, just go over the advantages here. Reduce condensate, meaning less pipe corrosion and particulate carryover. Reduce leakage, lower running costs. So smaller footprint, especially for the 35 horsepower. You can integrate the dryer and have literally no change to the size of the canopy if you want to go that route. And the maintenance is simple on all of these units. And again, as I said, these units all come with the ES4000 standard. It is not the advanced that the variable speed machines get. This is the ES4000 standard. It has the icon-based display, the online visualization, the service and fault notification. As many of you are already familiar with this controller. It's easy to navigate through the menus, accurate pressure setting, warning message, and for those of you that want to have the capability to manage the compressor remotely, has a remote input output on with this controller, so that you can manage it at a distance. It also gives you the capability of a browser-based status visualization, and that is a huge plus for customers who want to be able to monitor the main parameter from their computers. I'm going to get into a little bit of facts and figures here. As you can see, these machines perform very well, and want to highlight a little bit about the 35 horsepower. If you will compare these to some of the 40 horsepower machines that are in the field, this machine, especially at the 100 psi, it is getting very close to some of what the 40 horsepower units can produce. And these will be made available to you. I put this PowerPoint here in as a handout, so hopefully all of you will be able to download it If you have any issues getting any of this to have for reference, please let me know. I'll be glad to make sure it gets to you. These slides here basically just go over each of the CFMs that for all of the different ranges that we offer for the CPBg. Going to get into a little bit of how our compressor stacks up against the competition here. As you can see, the machine itself, the 40 horsepower at 100 psi, is on par really with the G&D, the Gardner Denver ESM 29, and the Boge S40, and we're above the LG and the Almig Gear 30 horsepower unit. We've picked these units just based on where the competition is positioning their same horsepower units in their brand portfolio, just like we're marketing ours. And if you compare the F8, the free air delivery, or the performance of these two platforms, you can see that we are really the most competitive among all these units. Again, these slides are in here for your reference if you have to come back to them later, just to reference them if you're going up against any of these units. Again, the specific energy ratio, basically a measurement of how efficient the machine is. You can see compared to most of the competition here, we are saving more energy than most of what I have shown here. The only exception would be on this chart is the Boge S40-3 there. But compared to the Comp Air, the Gardner Denver, the Almig, the Kilo 4010, and the LG units, we're coming way ahead of those units there. And to touch on some of the performance of the 50 horsepower units at the 125 psi range, you can see here one of our biggest competitors, Ingersoll Rand, the UP650. We are neck and neck with them on the 50 horsepower, which really makes this a very competitive unit in the market there. And as you can see, we have a couple other references there to the Quincy unit, the Gardner and Denver units, the other 50 horsepower units that we compete against. Above all, we can really just compete at the same level with the UP650 of the IR unit. Keep in mind these are for when you go up against an IR unit. These units are the belt drivens, I believe, of the IR and the Gardner and Denver. So keep that in mind when you're going up against an IR belt driven unit, and you know you can pitch one of our units with a better price and better quality there to win the sale. Actually, I'm sorry, this is the slide I meant to be showing when I was talking about that, going over some of the performance of the 50 horsepower again against the IR. You can show how more efficient our machine is against the IR, UP650, and the Gardner and Denver units. As you can see, against the Gardner and Denver unit, we're a little bit behind. But what I would suggest that you target is a belt-driven model of Ingersoll and Gardner and Denver, as we are clearly way ahead of those two units there. As we mentioned before, talking about the noise levels of our rotary screw compressors and how they compare, these units can get very quiet. As you can see here, we have them shown with the optional super silencing baffle, which does not come standard on the units but can be added. You can get the decibel levels on the 35 horsepower all the way down to 67, which is not very loud for a 35 horsepower machine. And you can see the respective decibel levels for the other units with and without the super silencing baffles. This is partially thanks to the internal sound insulating baffle. And by installing the super silencing external airbox, the noise can be further decreased by 2 dBAs. So that can really help a lot in situations where noise level really does matter. Just a little chart here on the dimensions. Again, I just want to mention for the 35 horsepower units, the dimensions do not change when you add the dryer. As you can see there, they remain the same. Just about a 20-inch increase on the unit on the base frame when you add the dryer on the 40 to 50 horsepower units there. Another graphic here to show you the dimensions when you add the super silencing baffle. If that's an option that you select, the dimensions go up a little bit further when you add the super silencing baffle overall on the length. But that is, again, the only change. It's about 170 millimeters longer than the base unit. All right, going to touch on some of the technical specifications and approvals. As you can see, the ones that primarily concern us are the North American approvals, for all the way from Canada down to Mexico. We offer these units at 230 volt and 460 phase for the United States and for Mexico. If you are in Canada, we have these available in 575 volt. This chart is also in the PowerPoint for your reference, so just feel free to come back to it if you need. All right, going to quickly highlight some of the aftermarket and upselling options. As you can see, on the variable speeds, as I mentioned previously, the graphic controller is a standard. For the fixed speed units, that graphic controller is available. It does not come standard. It comes with the ES4000 standard controller, but you can upgrade to the graphic if you need that. For the remote monitoring and the CAN network, that's only available with the graphic controller. That is optional for both ranges, the fixed speed and the variable speed. Obviously, you would need to upgrade to the graphic controller if you have a fixed speed unit and wanted to use the remote monitoring system. The energy recovery system that we mentioned at the beginning of the presentation is available. The food grade oil is something that the customer can decide to upgrade to if they need that for a food grade application. The 8,000 hour oil comes standard in our variable speed units, but for the fixed speed, that is an option they can upgrade to, and we'll touch a little bit more on that on the next slide. We have a heavy duty inlet filter, which comes standard on the 40 to 50 horsepower, but that option is available on the 35 horsepower units as an aftermarket option. The phase sequence relays are available as an option for the fixed speed units. The zero loss drain for the water separator is available. The coalescing post filter, this comes standard on all of our dryer units. Is only available for the dryer units, but it already comes standard. The canopy heater and the super silencing baffle. All of these options are available. On the next slide here, I'm going to show we can see what the part numbers and the actual list prices for all of these options are. You can find all of these options in our price book. They are available as of now. One thing I want to quickly go over to clear up any confusion, the factory mounted options you see here that begin with the 5 zeros, those part numbers are added to a purchase order when you're ordering a new unit, and that indicates that it will be built that way. These part numbers result in building a new unit to come with that part number. They will be built at our factory in Italy, in Brendola, Italy, and they will come from the factory that way. So you will have a little bit of a lead time if you want it built that way. One thing we suggest, if lead time is an issue, for some of these field kit options we have available, you can order a regular unit that we have in stock, and you can order the field kit part number, and if you have the confidence that you can install it yourself in the field, you can get the field kit part number and just install it yourself, so it will cut down on the lead time. If lead time is not an issue, or you have issues where you can't perform the installation of the field kit part number, you can order the factory mounted part number, and our factory in Italy will go ahead and build the unit for you that way with that option already installed. Same thing with the food grade oil. If the customer wants to upgrade to the food grade oil, or even the 8,000 hour, the Rotair Extra, they can order the oil themselves and flush the machine completely and just fill the unit with the new oil that they desire to use. Done this a few times with some of our distributors just to cut down on the lead time. just keep that in mind for ordering any of the aftermarket parts. If lead time is an issue, there is typically another solution that we can use to get them a unit quicker. As many of you know, CP is found all across the nation. I mean, we want to promote this new C80 range, and many of these new applications are industry applications you see here. We want to try to promote this new range of units anywhere and everywhere we can. Kind of promote this unit as the right solution for any compressed air demand from 35 to 50 horsepower as much as we can. Factory contact support. You can either contact our product marketing manager, Ben Smith, or myself, Ryan Wilburn. We'll be glad to answer any questions anybody may have at any time. For technical support, you can get in touch with us there, as you can see in option 1 for technical support. For any order inquiries, or if you want to send a purchase order in for any of these units, here is our orders email address. And you can also fax us orders or fax us inquiries or anything you may need at this contact number here. Again, we try to do our best. If we don't have the answers, we do our best to track down who does have the answers for us, and we try to get back to you as soon as we can. Our factory support is something we're really proud of, and something we try to maintain as top of the line, and we all do our best here to make sure you guys are well taken care of for anything that you need. With that, for our motto with CP here, people, passion, performance are what we prioritize. And with that, I will go ahead and open it up to the Q&A. Covered a lot pretty quickly here in just about 30 minutes. But if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to do my best to answer them now. With that, I will go ahead and turn it over to you guys. One thing I want to mention that I left off of the option table, we have the water separator option available. I'll include that on the option table if I left it out of there. Let's see. I have a question here. It says, what is motor speed and air-in speeds? I can get those to you. I have those in our tech data sheets. If you just shoot me an email, I'll actually see if I can get your contact information and email you that information. I have those in all of our tech data sheets. Let's see. The question here on the oil, it says the oil fill for the fixed speed is the 4,000 hour oil. It's actually just the regular Rotair 2,000 hour oil. And the part number for that oil is it can be found in our price book. Question I have here is, will this unit result in the loss of either the current CPC belt driven or CPCg? As of right now, I personally don't know of any plans to discontinue those units. That we still currently offer both of those units right now, and I don't know of any plans to discontinue either one of those. If anything were to change, we would notify you guys probably in a Tuesday update. Question here is the 35 horsepower separator spin-on type? Yes, it is. Another thing I want to mention on the graphic controllers, only one unit needs to have the graphic ES4000 in order to achieve the to create a network with the eControl 6i, and that can also be used with standard other units that have standard controllers, or even units that do not have electronic controllers, pneumatic controllers also. Okay, actually, just a note here, guys, for just got some intel. Most probably by Q3 of this year, we'll stop having both of the CPC units, since the pricing of the CPBg and the performance make it a better alternative. The CPCg itself will remain as a product that we offer. By the end of Q3, rather. Another thing we'd like to just mention, guys, is that we'd like to. You can order these units on eConnect. This is our preferred method of ordering these units. Just makes it easier on our order entry team. Everything's just a faster process. If you're not set up on eConnect, please get in touch with us here at the factory. We can get you guys set up on eConnect so that you can place your orders online and just make everything more seamless. Question I have here on dual voltage. Yes, these units are available on 230, 460 volt motors. So yes, they are dual voltage. All right, guys, I have all the other questions. I will save the questions. If there's any questions that I missed, I will respond to you via email. I have the questions saved. If I missed one, I apologize. Stay tuned to our Tuesday updates. We're going to be doing more of these webinars throughout the year, hoping to improve on each one as the year goes on. We're going to take any mistakes that we make, and we'll have these provide more information and more content to you guys, step by step. Any further comments, feel free to just contact me via telephone or to my email, and I'll be glad to get in touch with you. With that, guys, I'll go ahead and end the show. Thanks for watching.